Please check out the Night Dreams Talk Radio website at www.nightdreamstalkradio.com. Also, if you want to keep our show free of advertising, just hit the donate button. Give $1 or $2. Remember, all prior shows are always free to listen to. We at Night Dreams Talk Radio thank you for your support.
You're on, James.
Hey, hello. Hey, Gary, how you doing? How you been?
I am doing good. How about you?
Oh, hey, I can't complain. If I did, nobody would listen anyway. So, hey, but I was having a little trouble with my Skype going, and, well, it's working now, but on the other end, I think the other person had some problems with the Skype. But, hey, I've got you here. Let me ask you something. What got you started into the radio? Tell the people what's going on with you, how you got started up to this point in your life right now.
Well, the first thing you need to do, and everybody, this is his first night being a announcer on Night Dreams Talk Radio, so, give him a little slack here. The first thing you need to do, James, is tell everybody the name of your show, and a little bit about yourself, and then you can ask me all these questions.
Okay. Well, my name is James Creachbaum Jr. This is my first show, and I've got 30 years of experience in the paranormal. Happy to be here. This is on www.nightdreamstalkradio.com, fabulous radio station, and every Saturday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Time or 5 p.m. Pacific Time for 1 hour. It's going to be one heck of a great show with great guests. So that's me, and I'm excited for it and looking forward to it. And hope everybody tunes in and listen. You won't be disappointed.
Okay.
So, yeah, go ahead.
Oh, good. You go ahead. It's your show, not mine.
Oh, I was gonna say, Gary. Anyway, I know you got started sometime way back. What got you into it? What got you started into this to lead up to where we're at today?
Well, I'll tell you a little story. When I was a young kid, I had a big mouth. Enough where when I was in school, I didn't get good grades in grade school, junior high school, because I was busy talking. I just couldn't shut up. And, the funny thing is, they always looked at me as a class comedian. But the problem is, if, like when you had to do a book report, I would get up in front of people and I couldn't say a single word in front of anybody. I just would freak out, and I failed all the classes. Anytime we had to do a book report, I couldn't say a single word. But you get me out away from people, on one-to-one, I could not shut my mouth. It was bad. I was always up in the principal's office meeting, that little wooden paddle, back them days, you go in the principal's office or the vice principal's office and they give you a couple of swats and say, hey, keep your mouth shut and learn. Well, then, I'd go home and I would play radio. Instead of playing, Army or doing stuff like that, I'd play like I was a DJ. And, my dad, being an electronic engineer at Boeing Aircraft, he came home with an old CB set. And he said, hey, we're going to put an antenna up, and you're going to talk on the CB. And that'll keep you quiet, And that's how, I started going and getting really interested in radio. And, when I got the CB, back then, a CB was a major thing in the, 60s and 70s.
Yeah.
And I was talking to people, not just locally. The thing is, there was a thing called skip. That's where the signal would go up to the ionosphere, bounce back, and sometimes it bounce back 300 miles, 700 miles, or Australia or Japan. And I was talking to everybody. And my dad says, we got a letter here from the FCC. We got a fine from you talking skip. It's illegal. Back them days, and it still is probably now, you couldn't talk, other than local with CB. Hey, what can I say? So my dad says, you're going to become an amateur radio operator. And I said, cool. You buying the equipment? He goes, anything, if I don't have to pay fines. So, my dad, taught me Morse code. And, that was the hardest part. And to learn electronics. Then I got my license, I got my novice, and then I got my general. And I started talking to people all around the world. And I loved it. I come home from school, or cut school, just to sit there and talk on the radio.
Yeah, probably got caught. That's staying at home talking all over the world.
Oh, yeah, I loved it. I'd had girlfriends in Australia that, that their parents had sheep farms, I had this idea I was going to move to Australia and become a sheep herder at one point. I think I was in junior high school at that point.
God.
But, then I realized, I don't want to be a sheep herder. And, then I really got the bug. And I lived in an area of Seattle. It was called West Seattle. And about 9 miles from where we lived, going down a huge hill, there was an island, man-made island. It was called Harbor Island. And radio stations were there, like KJR, which I worked at one point in my life. KOL and a few other radio stations had their, stations on Harbor Island because it was a great area for their antennas and all that stuff. I used to walk down there, on the weekends just to hang out with the DJs.
Oh, wow.
And and on a lucky day, one day, Danny Holiday at KOL said, "Hey, I have to use the restroom for about 10 minutes. I need your help." And I go, "What do I do?" And he goes, "Well, you just put this record on." It wasn't even cart machines at that point. Cart machines were basically used for commercials, but virtually everything at that time was, you got behind the microphone and you did your thing. And I started playing records, he was in the bathroom and I started getting scary, because I didn't know what to do. And the phone lines were lighting up and I couldn't answer the phone. So I think about 20 minutes later, he came out of the bathroom and I really had the bug at that point. Really had the bug that, my life career was I was going to be a DJ spinning top 40, records.
Top 40, man.
Yeah.
How'd that turn out with your top 40, your first day on the job with the top 40? Just curious.
Well, we got to go a little bit farther, too. Then I went into the military. I got out of the military. I let my amateur license expire because, you know what? The amateur radio thing wasn't fun anymore. I wanted to be behind a microphone. I wanted all the babes to call me up and say, "Hey, Rick Stevens, you're the hottest DJ on the radio." I used to go by Rick Stevens and a few other names.
You're the Rick Steven I've been looking for.
Hey, what can I say? Well, anyway, what was your question? What was my first day? Well, first thing, I went through broadcast training through two DJs, Charlie Brown and John Maynard. They were one of the top DJs on the Northwest, back in that time frame in the 70s. I mean, they were like world renowned for, doing top 40. And I went to their school, learned to be a DJ, got a job. And when I got the job, I got it through the Broadcasting Association of Broadcasters. It's like a group, whatever. And I got this job. I did the interview. I went down to the radio station. They said, "Okay, well, cool. We're going to play you're going to be playing songs like the Bee Gees and all this stuff. It's all top 40, right? But you don't start to next month." Okay, well, that was cool. So here I go, borrow money from my parents. I moved down to Battleground, Washington, and get an apartment, and go in there for my first day on the air. And I walk in and everybody's staring at me. And I go, "Do I smell? Or did I step in something? Did I, or whatever?"
That's a red flag. You could be in a live episode of the Twilight Zone when that happens, just so you know in the future.
Well, I don't know what it was, but then the program manager and the station manager said, "Oh, the owner needs to talk to you."
That's always a good sign.
Now, here at that time, I borrowed the money from my parents, to move down there.
Right.
Moved down there, even talked my dad into buying me a new car. Well, an old new car.
Well, you are a good talker.
Yeah, well, naturally, they were probably happy to get me out of the house. And they probably would have gave me a lot more just to do that. Anyway, they got tired. They couldn't sleep at night because when I was taking that broadcast training, besides going to the classes every day, learning how to, write commercials, deliver commercials and just, be a DJ. I would practice at night. So I'd be home, 1 or 2 o'clock instead of the bars. And I'd be doing, more and more things that are fresh and pure. And you can go down to Piggly Wiggly this week and get red ripe tomatoes for just 29 cents a pound. Well, I was doing stuff like that at night. And my dad was getting upset because I would keep him awake.
Or else during the day, he was unsubconsciously he was buying Wiggly Piggly all the time, didn't know why.
Or he even accused me that I wrecked his sex life because, he said, how can I, he did, he came out to me, he goes, how could I ever have sex with your mom? Because you're sitting there talking to yourself all night long. I said, well, I'm practicing to be a DJ, Dad, He goes, well, how can you get romantic when I'm in the next room and you're talking, weird stuff, and playing records on your record player.
Son's talking Piggly Wiggly, you're trying to get your jiggy on with your mom. It probably didn't work out too well.
Well, so, things like that just, it just kept growing and growing. Well, anyway, going back, I get on this radio station and, they bring me into the owner's office and they're staring at me for a minute, and I'm going, oh my God, what did I do wrong? I didn't do anything yet. I haven't even started the job. And they said, we're not top 40 anymore. And the first thing I said out of my mouth, I said, I hope you're not country. I can't do the country accent. I'm sorry. It comes out Southern. I can't do it. And they go, no, you don't have to worry. It's not country. It's more exciting than that. I go, what is it? We've gone news and talk radio.
There you go.
Okay.
Hey, I'm going to stop you right there 1 second. I'm going to tell everybody that's on Facebook Live to go over onto www.nightdreamstalkradio.com and join in on the radio conversation. You don't want to miss the rest of Gary's story. I'm telling you. Come on over to www.nightdreamstalkradio.com and continue to listen to Gary's story. All right, Gary, go ahead, buddy.
Well, then, it was interesting. My weak point was because I figured I was going to be a DJ, spinning top 40, that I didn't really ever practice doing news.
Right.
And I didn't think I would have to. And they said, oh, you don't have to do news. We want you for talk radio. And now I'm starting to shit bricks.
Oh, Lordy me.
And I'm sitting there, I go, talk radio? You mean like people are going to call up and I'm going to talk to people? Yeah. And I go, oh, holy shit. I was, and I started panicking, and I said, okay, well, when do I start? Oh, well, the guy is off. The guy right now, it's on air, is going to be off air in about 5 minutes.
That's what's called a shotgun job on the glow right there. There you go. Go get him, boy.
Yeah. And I said, okay. And he goes, well, you don't have nothing to worry about. The news is about 3 minutes long. So the guy, they take me into the control room, right? The guy gets up and he goes, well, I'm going to Las Vegas for the weekend. And I go, that's cool. And I'm sitting here looking at this microphone. I'm